Hey guys, and welcome back to the second episode in the Daredevil TV journals. I just watched Daredevil, the Netflix series, episode 2, The Cut Man. And this video will be filled with spoilers for that episode and any previous episodes of Daredevil. So, that being said, I really liked this episode. I think I like this episode better than the first episode. So 2 episodes in, there's still plenty of stuff to like, and that makes me happy. I really wanted to like Daredevil, and so far I do. Real quick, I wanted to address a little thing that I heard about concerning Joss Whedon. I've only seen the first couple of episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but Joss Whedon has been releasing... Joss Whedon is the guy who directed Avengers 1 and 2. A big player in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you didn't know. And he has been saying in some interviews that he doesn't feel like the Marvel TV shows really have a big impact on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or something to that effect. Don't quote me on that. Look up the articles for yourselves, the interviews. But that's been disturbing me a little bit, because, I mean, I didn't care for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but at least Daredevil, they have referenced Avengers, and I would love to eventually, maybe, let's get a lot of room, Avengers 4, see Daredevil, or for that matter, Power Fist or Luke Cage, if their shows do well, show up in an Avengers film. If they're successful and if the stories work out that way. But Joss Whedon seemed to be saying that while the movies impact the this is not an exact quote. This is like just sort of the gist of what he's saying. While he's saying that while the movies impact the TV shows don't really impact the movies. So, like, as far as the Avengers are concerned, Daredevil, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't really matter. Like nothing that happens in those TV shows will affect the movies. Which, I mean, that's kind of a risky way to go if trying to have it just like a one-way street, because that means Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the Netflix series lose a lot of relevance if that's the case. But anyway, all that aside, let's get back to just this episode. This episode had a lot of backstory concerning what's his name, Matt Murdock's dad, who was a boxer, and he got mixed in with some bad guys, and ultimately this is the story of how his dad died, and that is hands down my favorite part of this episode, and my favorite part of the 2 episodes put together. Is the relationship between the kid, Matt Murdock, and his dad. It felt really real. He felt like an actual dad to an actual son, a flawed person, but still trying to do what he thinks is best for himself and for his family. And, not to say he's a perfect dad, but you could tell, like, his heart's in the right place. And seeing him go, it got me. And it is very well done. And I'm hoping we get more flashbacks with them, with the dad. I hope that's like a thing throughout the show. Every now and again, you'll have a flashback to his childhood with his dad there, because I just love seeing that, and it'd be nice to get some more backstory and reminisce a little bit. Speaking of backstory, I really want to know how Daredevil got from a kid it shows he has the superpowers of being able to hear and feel and smell, as opposed to see. But he's doing some like ninja level stuff. I'm like, you wouldn't just be able to do that from having heightened senses. Heightened senses means he can tell when somebody's about to fire a gun at him and dodge it before the bullet's even fired. But it doesn't mean you can roundhouse kick somebody in the face. Not just by itself. So I'm wondering where his like training came in. Is he self-taught? Was he trained by another superhero? We'll see, and I'm excited. But I hope that's addressed before too long. Also, in the modern in the modern time of this episode, and I saved it for last because actually less stuff happens. We see Daredevil. I love that shot where the scene where he drops the fire extinguisher on the guy's head just by listening to his footsteps. That was really cool. And I love stuff like that in Daredevil. I'm liking this new character, this nurse who looks like she's going to be a player with Daredevil in the time to come. You know, because he can't, if he gets beat up, and he will get beat up, he can't go to an actual doctor, or else somebody will know what's up. And this is riding really hard. The show is riding really hard the line between Batman and Arrow. In Arrow, the DC TV show about the Green Arrow, he, at least in the first season, isn't shy about killing people. That's not his main goal, but if his arrow happens to shoot somebody in the head and that person dies, he doesn't cringe at it because he knows it's part of the mission. He tries to aim for the legs or the spleen or whatever, but if somebody happens to die while he's on the mission, then he doesn't balk at it. He's like, okay, whatever, just as long as the mission gets done. As opposed to like Batman. I forget what the comparison I used earlier, but as opposed to Batman, who will not kill anybody. Like, that's a thing he doesn't do. So Daredevil, like when he dropped the fire extinguisher on that guy's head, I thought he was dead. When he threw him off the roof, I thought he was dead. And it's funny how they're playing up his heightened senses, like he can tell if a blow will kill somebody or not. And I hope they don't stretch that too far. But I like this. He's pushing people to the edge of dying, but is trying really hard not to actually kill anybody. Which I think is perfect for Daredevil. He's brutal but not merciless. So I like this new nurse character. I like the subplot with with the other lawyer and their secretary. Now she is just a little scene about them having fun, and I thought for sure that was going to go really dark really fast, like with them getting mugged in an alley or something. No, excuse me. With them getting mugged in an alley or something, but it didn't, and that was really nice. I love the part where he's like, you see that guy over there? I know his cousin or whatever. Like, he works at the O'Reillys down the street. I don't know if they have O'Reillys in New York. Anyway, that was a fun scene, showing that not everything in the world is so bad. Especially this world, because this is a world in which the Avengers live. Speaking of which, this is a really wonderful turn for the TV show. Not turn, but a theme for the TV show that Daredevil takes on criminals. He doesn't take on world threats like the Avengers do. Iron Man keeps peace between countries. Hulk smashes aliens. Thor makes sure that other alien worlds don't invade Earth. Captain America and Hawkeye and Black Widow make sure that like secret agencies don't topple governments or anything. But while they're all doing that, who's making sure that people don't get mugged in New York City? I mean, like, Iron Man and Thor don't have time for that. But it's still important. And so that's a wonderful place for Daredevil to fit in. He doesn't save the country or the world, but he saves people. He saves individuals from tragedy, things that the Avengers just don't have time to do. And that's a really wonderful way to have this in the Marvel Universe, but not have it so close that it might conflict with the movies. And they didn't reference Avengers at all, I don't think, in this, or anything to do with the Avengers in this episode, which I thought was neat, because this episode stood on its own two legs just fine. And let's see. Lastly, this episode, at first I was feeling, okay, this is saying a lot but not showing a lot, because the nurse keeps talking about how Daredevil, this man in a black mask, keeps saving people. Like this kid this girl who was getting mugged in an alley, she screamed and Daredevil came and helped her. A man in a black mask came and helped her. Daredevil's going after this kid who's being sold to this Russian mob, I guess, for human trafficking. I'm excited to see where that subplot goes. But we haven't been seeing much of that. We only have gotten one real crime-fighting sequence in the whole show so far. Two. Or at least in the first episode. But then at the end, it made up for it. There's a really nice action scene between Daredevil and the Russian mob as he goes to save somebody. And I hope we just continue to get a good mix of character moments and action moments. Because one without the other gets boring in this kind of superhero TV show. So we just need Character development, action, building on each other and making something great. That's what I want to see at least. Speaking of that action scene, I think that was all one shot. I love that how it didn't like necessarily. It took like the camera was moving so slowly next to all this really awesome fast-paced action, all in one shot. I can't believe how tough that must have been to choreograph. And I loved how they kept it when Daredevil. He's been cut and he's been beaten like not long before that, so he's not like all of a sudden he can fight really well. He's like slumped up against a wall and finally pushes himself up and punches somebody in the face. And it's really refreshing to know that they're doing it so well. At least these first couple episodes, and we'll see how it goes. A couple of concerns. I'm wondering when he's going to be called Daredevil, when he's going to get the costume, when he's going to get that like nunchucks. I think he has some like that his signature weapon. I'm wondering where it's all going to go and how it's all going to tie in, who the ultimate villain is going to be. But I'm just so excited to see. And with that, I'll join me again for Daredevil episode 3 next time. I'll see you later. Bye.